Welcome to Uncommon Courtesy.
We give you the courtesy of conversation.
That's uncommonly spoke of.
I'm D-Mac.
I'm Wesley.
And this is the show. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell. Make sure you stay updated with everything that we put out. How you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I want to talk about the story of the Iranian-backed Houthi, I said that correct?
Yes, sir.
Rebels in Yemen claimed on Friday that they have attacked the United States Navy's Nimitz-class nuclear-powered supercarrier, USS Dwight E.D. Eisenhower, which recently returned to the Red Sea after a brief deployment to the eastern Mediterranean. Houthi said their attack was in response to strikes carried out by the aircraft launched from the carrier on targets in Yemen on Thursday.
Yeah, this has been they've been ramping up their attacks as this war has gone on. Anyway,
Yeah.
Houthis are said to be one of three, at least three different groups that I know of that is backed by Iran. There's the Houthis, there's Hezbollah, and there's also Hamas. But I'm sure there's other smaller groups as well that they back. But these are the three major ones people talk about. The Houthis, actually, the name Houthis came from their now deceased general. He actually was a person who kind of tried to overthrow the Yemeni government back in the day. He was from a separatist group that was funded by, I think it was Iran or something at the time. He was named something else before. The group was named something different. But then once he got killed, once he got martyred, they named the group after him, the Houthis.
Yeah, they say
last name.
Yahya Saree, the military spokesman, said in a statement that the media that 16 people were killed and 41 others, including civilians, have been injured in the attacks that the U.S. has been taking out on them personally. So that's why they've been attacking these ships in the ocean. But
for a long time.
You know, these American ships, no one's reporting on it. You know, like you might see a little dabble here, a little dabble there. We're basically at war with a couple countries now.
Yeah, I mean, Yemen is not really ran by the Houthis, though. Yeah. There's so many different government-backed groups. Qatar has a government-backed group there as well. I think Saudi Arabia has put some money because they've gone to war with Saudi Arabia as well. So Yemen is kind of like because the next door to it is Oman. There's a country named Oman. Yemen, if they had a structured government there, maybe like some kind of a monarchy or something, it wouldn't be this way. But back in the day, they were a little bit, I won't say better off, but they've been through so much like civil strife, and there's been so many countries are putting money into different separatist groups. Yeah, that it just hasn't really. Oman, very next door to them, has less natural gas reserves, has less oil, has less people, everything. But they're doing better than what they are. They actually have a kind of a functioning government there. But over here, it's basically, I think they're looking at that as like that choke point right there. That's right off the. I'm not sure what strait that is or what
where they bring all the supplies to Israel.
Yeah, and so that's very important. So I think people are kind of keeping that going. Yeah. It's a way to kind of disrupt what's going on with Saudi Arabia. I think a number of the people who live in Saudi Arabia kind of live along that shoreline right there. I think that's almost over by where Riyadh is. But don't get me wrong, I might be wrong about that one. So this is a huge development. I mean, they actually have hit one of our ships. This is not something that normally happens. I think the USS Cole was bombed in that same area. Am I correct?
Maybe, I think so. I know they've been shooting missiles at them for a while, and then I mean, they've been shooting firearms back and forth between each other, which is it's a wild thing that like the news doesn't press on this anymore or talk about it.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm pretty sure that's the area that it happened in. Yeah, Yemeni port, in the port of Aden. That's where it was refueling in the Yemeni port of Aden, and that's where it happened at. So this has been it's one of those areas that a lot, I think they want to say like 30% or something like that of the world's like total like commerce goes through that area. Yeah, because they don't have to go around.
They don't have to go all the way around South Africa. Yeah,
so that it's really it's a very important area that makes sure it's functioning and that making sure that people aren't risking cutting off the oil supply, whether it's goods that are going through there. And I know that they're really big on shutting that down because Israel, they're pretty much like, okay, whatever ships that are tied to Israel that come through here, we're bombing them. And so, I mean, it is what it is. In America and in the UK, we're going to come to their rescue as soon as we possibly can.
And going to their rescue is actually going to cause us to be in more conflicts, which is just a wild situation going on right now there. And, shout out to everybody on the Nimitz. I know a couple of them sailors. I hope you guys stay safe out here. Also, former President Donald Trump's campaign and the Republican Party raised $52.8 million in 24 hours After Trump was convicted of 34 felony counts on the hush money trial, the campaign said Friday a staggering total that represents more than half of what they raised in the entire month of April. But also his son came out and said, we raised $200 million.
$200 million, man. Since what, Thursday?
Supposedly
since, I mean, but they're going to have to show this. It'll be shown because they have to do reportings on, I think it's every month or something like that up until like the end of, up until I think October or something. Then they go dark for that month. You don't have to report anymore until after the election.
Yeah.
So that's when all the dark money comes in. They call it dark money. For some strange reason, they call it dark money.
Dark money.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So that's the month that everyone starts to flood. Anyone can put money in because it's not going to matter until after you get in the White House.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, if you want to give me some money, give it to me right here. And that's when all the worst possible stuff starts to come out because that's,
Yeah. I mean, just who knows how many porn stars he can pay for with this one.
$100 million, buddy.
Yeah.
That's a nice little jug you got.
It's a nice money.
A quick one, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, what I really wanted to, when I really look at it, like, man, I got a lot of people who tell me all the time, they're like, well, this has been rigged. The system is flawed, everything like that. They've been railing against the judicial system, the government. I mean, just horribly. I'm not trying to say the government's perfect. We know that the government's not perfect.
No, not at all.
I mean, we know that the government is fucked up. Now, we understand that the judicial system is fucked up. It's been that way for a very long time. You guys, we've been saying this for a long time. What'd you guys say to us? What'd they say to us?
Well, the system's not broken. But let's see what the sentencing is. That's what I'm waiting on.
You got to comply. Why aren't you complying? Why aren't you just following the rules?
Yes.
Why you know what I mean? Why didn't you just listen to what the officer said?
This is called law and order here.
You know, I mean, if you guys didn't break the law, this is what we heard when we said this before. So and then they're like, well, you guys should understand. You guys have been through this. So you
just like the ICC. It's like, oh, this wasn't made for us. It was made for the Africans.
Made for y'all. Why are y'all doing this to us now? So if someone breaks a rule, they're not supposed to be held accountable. Like he's saying, we know right before the 2016 election, what was he chanting about Hillary?
Oh, lock her up. Lock her up.
He said that in one of his speeches, he came out and said directly that if a person, she shouldn't be able to run for president because she might have a criminal charge that's going to come to her after this is over. So there's no way she should be a sitting president. Look up the clip. He says this. We might even be able to find the clip for you.
Yeah, we probably could.
Put it in here.
And the whole thing, too, it's like, I didn't see nobody got 34 felonies and wasn't held until sentencing.
People are like, man, if you can get 34 felonies and still be president, why they even ask the question about have you been convicted of a felony on a job application?
Yeah.
Why? If you can work for the highest office in the land, the highest position in the land, why are they worried about for a rental history? Why are they worried about it for any job? Man, they got jobs. You're getting paid some places $9 an hour.
Well, they call those crimes white collar crimes.
But
yeah,
it's crazy as fuck. I mean, this is ridiculous, man. If we don't sit back and we don't look at these things for what they are and understand, this is why we do not. I mean, there's other things too. I got a friend of mine who told me we've talked back and forth. He's a white dude, but he's cool as hell. He ain't racist, nothing like that. But what he tells me a lot, gives me a glimpse into what the Republicans think about things. And so, we remember back when they talked about Barack Obama, what they say about him, about birth.
Oh, he's not from America.
Trump
He's
brought
Kenya.
This up.
Yeah.
This is Trump. This is Trump. The first person we had run for office who was not run for office, but the first person
that had a legitimate chance to win.
Yeah. He was a black dude. You're not even from our nation. You're not really from here. Show us your birth certificate. What are they saying about his wife? They've been saying it for a while.
That she's a man.
She's a man, man. She's a beautiful black woman to me. She's gorgeous to me. I mean, for her, even for her age, even she is the baddest president, the baddest first lady we've had. I don't look at Melania as being. She has a strong jawline. I mean, if you look at, I'm not saying she's not pretty.
She's pretty. I've seen her naked,
pretty, but you know what I mean. But they don't
multiple times.
They don't question her. She's a foreigner. She's not even from here.
They don't question a lot of things.
You know what I mean? This woman has a Princeton education, which is Michelle Obama, also a Harvard law education. She's gone to school, played basketball, has kids, everything. But they question her. It'd be easy to find out if she wasn't. She's from an American city, but you question her, but you don't question the foreigner. It's because you look at us as foreigners. You would rather side with a person who's not even from this country than people who are from this country but just so happen to be black. And that's what I look at.
That's cutting off your nose to spite your face.
I mean, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, you look at the Republican Party. We don't have a place in your party. That's why I say this, because in reality, this is what you think of us. You tell us all the time what you think of us. I mean, I can't trust that. period. I'm not trying to say the Democrats are perfect, but I go on the side of the fence where the fire ain't going to get me. It may not get me over here because I got a little bit there's a lot more water on that side for me. So I got people who can douse things and put things out. You guys allowed me. I just watched Trump today. He had an interview. I think yesterday, it was. He had an interview, but I watched it today on Fox, some kind of a Fox station show.
Yeah.
And he's saying, he's talking about how, we're becoming like these South American countries that you can just kind of, what they do is they start making so that other people can't run for office. They start convicting them of things and putting them on house arrest and stuff like that. And one of the three people who were interviewing him so happened to be a Latino woman. Oh, I'm sure you can understand that. So like, that's the type of shit
thing is like this,
about, man.
I mean, he must be in his feelings because he's used to living through, as I say, white privilege all his life. But they waited almost 3 years before they even brought up laws to you. I've known people that were locked up for 3 years before they even had a trial.
Absolutely. Look at, was it Brower or Khalid, whatever his name was? He was locked up for months, didn't even see a judge. Nothing.
Over a backpack.
On top of that, too, in that same interview, he said something like the demographics are some pretty much of the people, who were the people who were on the jury. He's like, there's no way I was going to win because of the demographic of the jury. I don't know what it was. I tried to look it up. They didn't tell us what color the jury was.
No, because they had jurors that had to leave the trial before because they were getting out their names and their information. They're doing a lot of illegal stuff. And the whole thing is like this. If you're innocent of all your crimes, why complain? Absolutely. The system is beatable. I've seen people take it to trial and beat the system because the information was wrong. You know what I'm saying? All the evidence they had on them was bad. But I mean, if they got you dead to rights on 34 felonies, then I think you might be guilty. I can understand, hey, he caught 4 of them, and then he got 4 felonies, and the other 30, he didn't get them. Cool. Hey, you can fight those. 34 felonies.
That's real here. If that was anybody else, man, they would have been like, yeah, you did it. You just under 30 would have been on his head about it. We mad at OJ to this day about something he got found not guilty about.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying he didn't do it. I'm just saying.
No. OJ didn't do it. But no matter, he was acquitted, but he lost in civil court, whatever, Okay, cool. Respect the verdict.
They don't want to do that when it's someone, when they
don't agree with it.
You can't, there's no respect now. But that's a huge reason why we don't fuck with the Republican Party, because there's no place for us in your party. Even the 4 brand new House members you guys have, go talk to them and go see where their politics lie. Go see who they are as people.
They like us if we're in the Motisa tribe.
Absolutely. That's what they want to do. Like what's his name from South Carolina?
Tim Scott.
Tim Scott.
Yeah.
I love you, Donald Trump. But he say, man, come on, man. That's the Motisa tribe that we ever saw.
Republican lawmakers from Montana blocked the Biden administration judicial nominee who had been the state's first, Native American federal district court judge. Attorney Dana Jackson with Confederate, Salish, and hope I'm saying this right, Kootenai tribes have been nominated last month by President Joe Biden. The post requires Senate confirmation. But see, I lost the article.
That's crazy that they even have a
Steve Daines blocked Jackson from consideration because the administration never sought his consent prior to her nomination.
They're just trying to block judges right now.
Oh yeah, right now it's election year, just like they did Merrick Garland. For all the Supreme Court and stuff.
Yep. And I mean, he needs to go ahead and reelect another one because that whole state was stolen. Let's just be real here. The whole Midwest, all those plain states were stolen from Native Americans. They should be over there governing a lot of those states, at least helping to govern those states.
I mean, think about it. Like even the whole West Coast. We live here in Washington. Name a town that's something that's not Native American.
Come on, man. This whole country. We want to get into it. We want to just not act like we don't know this whole country.
Well, we can always say it was stolen, right? But yeah, steal it back then. Hey, you don't like Christmas? Do something about it. Steal it back. You don't like Thanksgiving? Steal it back.
Honestly, it doesn't have to be stolen back. It's going to be given back. Just like I always say, watch birth rates, watch the demographic changes. Just pay attention. We don't have, the theft is going to be televised.
I mean, I know this country's period. They're nervous always when it comes to someone that's Native American here in this country having power. Because they feel retribution. I mean, you see this stuff going on now. They're getting rid of the DEI stuff. Mm-hmm. And, that whole thing is because, they're saying, well, basically they're going to need it pretty soon. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of laws and a lot of things going into power to make sure that the smallest demographic that's going to be left will have the majority of the power.
The biggest thing was the Supreme Court and how that happened, how Merrick Garland didn't get on the Supreme Court, and then how Trump got into office. And then all of a sudden he was able to elect, I think, 3 Supreme Court justices. Is ridiculous.
Well, I blame Bernie Sanders supporters. You know, they thought, a lot of people thought they could sit out that election, not vote for Hillary, and then be like, well, I didn't vote for her anyways. And you saw that she only lost by like 12,000 votes in this state, 11,000 votes in the other states. Yeah, and if they were sitting there, he won. Feel the burn. Well, we are feeling the burn. And then they're so, how do I say this word without being insulting? Nah, fuck them. They're assholes. They don't take into consideration anything they did. And they're like, they don't want to take any responsibility for it. Bernie Sanders supporters are the reason that women have lost their rights. Yeah. You know, you're the reason that the Supreme Court is the way it is right now. You can say there's nothing they can say. You did your protest vote, and this is what you get. Thanks for protesting.
Another candidate for mayor killed in Mexico, days ahead of a nationwide election. In Mexico, another mayoral candidate has been killed ahead of Sunday's election. Alfredo Cabrera was shot dead at point-blank range while at a campaign rally in the southern Guerrero state yesterday. Just one day earlier, on Tuesday, a mayoral candidate from the state of Morales was killed. Another shot and wounded in Jalisco. At least 35 political candidates or aspiring candidates have been murdered since last September. Now, let me get into a little bit of facts just about what's kind of going on here in Mexico. Well, they said that at least, I think they said 35 people have been murdered who've been running for office. Mexico has had over 186,000 murders since the 6 years the president who's in office now took office. And that's over 30,000 murders per year. Mexico has a population of 127,500,000. Now let's do a little bit of mathematics here. America has a population of 333 million people, which is give or take 3 times the size of Mexico. Over that same period of time, we've averaged about 20 to 22,000 murders per year. You know what I mean? They're averaging 10,000 more murders for us. We're almost 3 times the size they are. You know, it's crazy to me that this is even like that's our southern border. That's crazy. That's like war almost to a degree. You look at it like
there's a lot of money moving in and out of Mexico.
A lot of money moving in and out.
A lot of politicians are on the payroll. A lot of police on the payroll. Like, think about it. If the drug trade stopped coming to America from Mexico, like a quarter of the population would probably die from withdrawals.
They said that. I mean, you gotta look at the Miami skyline was built from drugs.
Yeah,
like this country during the COVID, that's what propped up our economy was drugs. People don't like drugs is like hundreds of billions of dollars a year.
Yeah.
In revenue.
They just caught a guy in California with $133 million worth of fentanyl because he was swerving and driving. That's crazy how people get the drugs in their car and they're like, should we speed and run lights? Yeah, go for it. They can't see us.
Hey, what I'm saying though, okay, this candidate, man, they blew his head off.
Yeah, we saw the video. Here, we're gonna show it to you.
You know, but at the same time though, it's just this has gotten to a point. I think that this candidate actually had police protection because I think they just tried to kill him in September of last year, 23. I think they just tried an attempt on his life.
Then he's walking around like shit's still sweet.
Like shit's sweet, man. The way they caught him, bro, like they had to set him up. We just showed that clip. Just look at how when he bent the corner, dude knew to hit him right then and there. As soon as he bends this corner, if you got police protection, they're supposed to be out front in front of the crowd watching what's going on in front of you. So they told them that he was going to bend this corner this way, and that's why he got his head blew off the way he did.
Well, he was walking through the crowd saying hello.
I'm not doing that ever. Listen, you remember what back in the day there was a. This is kind of show my age a little bit, but Eddie Murphy had he's either Delirious or it was Raw. He was like, man, he said when Jesse Jackson running for president, he was like, man, Jesse Jackson ain't gonna be able to stand still. He's gonna have to run back and forth. Like I'm running for president, running back and forth across the stage because he understood that they was gonna try to kill him. You know what I mean? So it's the same thing. If I'm one of these people running for any seat in Mexico, ain't no way I'm walking through the crowd. Oh yeah, that's not happening.
Now I'm going through the cartel. Like, what do you need from me? What can we do to make sure our relationship is fruitful?
Hey, this is crazy, man. But basically, modern cars have become too so much more fuel efficient than their forebears, and in some cases, they use no gasoline at all. A benefit to drivers at the pump. The downside is those drivers aren't paying as much or even any in gas tax, and that's why historically those funds have been used historically to fund roads. Now California is proposing what is called a road charge, where drivers will be exempt from state fuel taxes and instead pay a fee based on how many miles they drive. The state is asking residents if they're willing to sign up for a pilot project to assess the viability of such a program. Now, let me tell you, man, this shit is crazy to me.
They're gonna have to track how many miles you drive.
Man, fuck this. This is crazy. All they're gonna do is put it in the cars.
They already got it in the cars.
You know what I mean? So
people don't understand. Like, you know, the new cars tell them how many miles you drive already.
Let's start here, man. Let's start with this fact right here, though. You tell people that you want to limit, carbon emissions, getting into the atmosphere just from vehicles. You want to eliminate all this, the emissions, everything else going on. So please, we're trying to shift you guys away from fuel driven vehicles. So they push towards EV. They're even giving tax credits and everything. Okay, this is going to get a clean environment. Electric vehicles. Let's go. You do this, and now they're going to fucking try to find a way to tax you for driving a clean electric vehicle. They're going to figure out another way to get your money that way.
Think about it. They're going to track you. Think about it. You don't pay for your miles 1 month, or you don't pay your fees, and you're driving. You're like, you're only allowed to drive 6 miles today.
This is what they're trying to do, man. And that's crazy. But California is just, it's an outlier of everything bad. Not everything bad.
Well, it's crazy. It's like California is crazy left progressive country. Mm-hmm. And then Florida is crazy right Republican country. And all we see is the craziness, but that's wild. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're going to charge you by the mile. So after a while, they're going to tell you you're allowed to drive so many miles, or they're going to fine you.
They're talking about 30 cents a mile, man. This is what they brought up. 30 cents a mile. Man. That's fucking crazy, man.
Well, because think about it. The gas tax is gone. They can tax you with gas because you got to stop and get gas. They had that calculated. Now you're not buying gas at all. They're like, well, we still got to get our money. Just like here in Washington.
A different way to tax you. Not that way. You can't tell me that you want to clean something up and then figure out a way to beat me on that too anyways. Fuck that, man.
Yeah.
I know that, but man, nah.
The more convenience we have in our lives, the less control we'll have.
Yeah, that's out of control, man. That's just to me, just even saying something like that.
Yeah,
it sounds crazy.
Well, they had a part of Seattle where they were like, yo, if you only can come down here, I can't find which road it is, but you can only come down there if you pay. And then it did it in Manhattan too, where there's like certain areas like you have to pay to go in there just to be able to drive in these certain areas. You know what I'm saying? So they've been planning it. I think that's what these HOV lanes are for. It's like
probably just to kind of test out and seeing how many people actually are using. It's just nuts to me, man.
Yeah.
That they really think that this is how stupid they feel like we are.
Well, they sit there and
test it out too and figure out how. Do you want me to let me test it out on your car?
Yeah.
If I could tax you more, whoever does that's a piece of shit.
Well, no, they already have, like I say, with all the newer cars.
Man, come on, bro.
2022 and up, it already tracks your mileage in your car. People don't realize that. Like all these new cars, they track your mileage, and it sends it back to a system. And it lets them know how many miles you drive already. Like, it's already in your car. Think about it. They have cars now that shut off when you stop at the red light.
Just like they're gonna be repoing people's cars.
Soon they're gonna be calling you fat. They'd be like, they won't let you their car turn to McDonald's. No, you've had too many Big Macs today. To the gym, Tony.
Hey, criminal officials threaten war against NATO if Ukraine uses U.S. weapons against Russia. Let me see. In response, the senior Russian security official Dmitry Medvedev issued a series.
What was his name again?
Dmitry Medvedev. That's his name. Dmitry Medvedev.
I'm just making sure. My bad.
That's his name. You got to look it up. I'm probably not saying it perfect, but that's his name. Medvedev.
Liberty Bibbity.
Issued a series of warnings to the West. Russia regards all long-range weapons used by Ukraine as already being directly controlled by servicemen from NATO countries. This is no military assistance. This is participation in a war against us. As such actions could well become a casus belli, an act that provokes war. He said it would be a fatal mistake on the part of the West to think that Russia was not ready to use tactical nuclear weapons against Ukraine, and spoke of the potential to strike unnamed hostile countries with strategic nuclear weapons. I mean, this is getting...
Oh, it's cracking. It's going down.
At the same time, they just tested out or just sent up a test nuke in Russia. They also did one in France. France sent out a test nuke as well. And then just here over the last couple of days, might have been yesterday, America flew B-52 bombers, which is these are our nuclear.
That's all that carries nuclear missiles.
This is how we drop our nukes. They used to carpet bomb with them before. It wasn't with nukes before, but now this is what they use them for. They're our big ass fucking carriers that just,
they use them in that movie Skyline when they try to blow up the alien ship, and then the alien ship blew up and then put itself back together. Then the humans were like, oh, well, there goes that.
But they flew this the B-52 around Kaliningrad, which is like a separate country. It's like it's part of Russia, but it's separated by Belarus and by Ukraine. It's I think it's in the Baltic Sea or whatever that is up north. But yeah, we flew around there with this is one of our nuclear capable airplanes. We flew around kind of in a U-turn kind of a fashion. We didn't fly through their airspace. We just looped around and let them know, hey man, we're not playing either. We're gonna let these people use these bombs. They've already been striking like 1,500, I don't know, kilometers is inside of Russia, which is deep inside. They're starting to strike more and more at more and more military installations and more weapons caches. So at the end of the day, man, this is starting to escalate to the point to where this could be another war front for us. We may have to send in troops. People are saying that this is what happens when you have Joe Biden get into office, XYZ. Trump would have gave up Ukraine. They would have been marching through Poland right now. We'd be having troops on the ground already.
Trump gave up Afghanistan. He just didn't want to look bad by withdrawing the troops, so Biden did it. Even though we needed to leave out of there. But this whole thing is, I'm tired of these old people sending our youth to die.
Yep.
Over whatever they've been arguing over, and they get to sit in the office and be like, how many troops you lose? How many? These are people. These are people's lives. We don't need to go to war with Russia. We don't need to be in Ukraine. We don't need to be supporting Israel. We need to be America first and take care of our own people, but we can't because we have so much stake in the world.
I know that this is like one contentious point that we have, which is good. I think people need to see, like this is his standpoint is. It's very much an American standpoint. Most people believe that. I believe that we should take care of America first, too. I believe that. But I also know that taking care of America is also sometimes paying attention to what the fuck is going on around you.
Yeah.
You got to know what the hell is going on. And some of these countries that can't do what we're doing, that's why they got the problems they have right now. That's why anybody can just march into your country and do whatever they want to do to you.
But America keeps trying to save face around the world like, yeah, we'll give you all this money, 20% of Americans have to eat it from food banks. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got enough food here. We ain't got enough places to live.
You think it's 20%? Maybe like 10 or something. Hopefully.
No, I'll say 30%.
That's a huge number.
That's a lot of people. It's a lot of people.
Talking about damn near 100 million people right there.
Yeah, 100 million people. In poverty, think about only 10%, only 9% of the people here in America got the money.
Now, I feel you. Don't get me wrong. I just feel like this. This is how I feel. I mean, honestly, when you look at stuff like that, the difference is that if we it's called isolationism. If we start doing that, okay, now what happens next? Now, next thing you know, we're going to help out Mexico anymore. We're not going to help out these countries that are really close to us anymore. We're not going to do any of that. Now, who's going to get a base over there? China. So now when we got a problem with China, I'm like, what you want to do? Oh yeah, for real? I got a nuke right in Mexico.
They just had 80,000 Chinese nationals just come through the southern Mexican border.
Man, listen, most of them will be assimilated
in the last 2 months.
Most of them will be assimilated within a generation or two. I'm not worried about 80,000 people when I got 333 million of us. We will isolate them and get them out the way real quick. Most of them were like, man, let me get out of China. Most of them want to leave there. They don't even have enough women in China for them. I'm not knocking China. China is probably a great place. But what I'm saying is not everyone who comes over here is looking to probably harm us.
Maybe we may have more women, but at what cost?
Hey, I'm not, like I say, I'm not against us.
A lot of people flying out to go get women.
We need fucking migrants here. We need to stop having warmongering people in our government ready to send our children to war because they didn't like the way another nigga talked. That's Snowfall, y'all. If y'all don't understand where that came from, that was a good one right there. I like that one. But what you got to understand, man, is like this. It's not Like, how many wars have we really lost bodies in? The last war we really lost people in was the Iraq War. We lost like maybe 8 or 10, but that's over 20 years. We lost like 8.
Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan.
Vietnam was like 40 years ago. We really haven't had big wars like that. There's some places you go, like, you got to look at like, okay, this is a long
We don't have big
ago.
wars. Let's destroy everything wars. We have those, let's go in the country, try to kill off the bad guys, and then fix it. Oh, the bad guys are still blowing up these buildings, which don't make no damn sense. Kill them all, fix it, leave.
The biggest thing is that it matters, man. Like it's like chess, man. It matters, man, where your pieces are on the board. It just does, man. This is the reason why we can isolate people. The reason why we can isolate China, because we got South Korea, Japan, Philippines, Taiwan, Australia, Singapore. We can choke them off from. That's why they don't want. That's why they're not as quick to do things, because we have it set up already, so that we can deal with you if we need to in other ways without sending troops. Because this is going to come to this. You know, it's coming to this.
Yeah. No,
this was going to happen. No matter what.
They said we should be in war by next year.
You know,
I mean, it's
already happening.
Yeah.
You know, we're just not directly fighting wars right now, but.
And we'll let you guys know, and we'll keep you up to date here. Like, subscribe,
let's give
hit that
sponsor
bell, and don't forget our sponsors, Crime Scene, because the world's about to be one.
Yeah, Doc.
So at least you can have some seasoning.
You got to check out. So it's a rub. You guys got to go ahead, go on. There's doclovethekids.org. It'll be at the bottom of the screen. Go ahead and check that out, man. You guys go ahead and get you guys a box of this Doc Love the Kids chicken, pork, steak.
It's different seasoning for the different meats, but it's great seasoning. The company that makes it, I buy my spices from there actually. Absolutely. So great seasoning. But once again, like, subscribe, hit that bell so you can keep up with us. Uncommon Courtesy.
Thank you guys for everything you guys are bringing to the table for us. Let's keep going.